Why, hello there. My name is Jenna and I consider myself to be a crafting goblin, or a chaos crafter, if you will. That means that I generally have anywhere from 2 to 15 projects on the go at any one time, which drives me insane. So, as my introduction to YouTube, I thought I would go through the projects that I have and then I can maybe decide whether I'm actually going to finish those projects or frog them. I have been crocheting for a number of years and I've more recently picked up knitting. So these projects are a little bit of a mix of the two. And I know that there's a few things in here that I haven't touched for months. So I really need to get a handle on these things. This is one of my current crochet projects. This is the Hooked on Sunshine designer. This is the Phoenix pattern. So here is this one. I've been working on this for probably about a month, I think. I recently finished a 4 blanket for one of the girls I work with who was having a baby. So I decided that I would do this one for myself and I really love this one. So I'm doing this in the Karen Skinny Cakes, and this one is in Raspberry Ganache, which I really, really love this color. I have another 6 cakes of this on the shelf to go into this project. So this one is definitely going to be a finished project. It's going to get ginormous, so I don't actually know when I will finish this, but I am determined to finish this, or at the very least make some progress on this before I do another one of these videos. This next one is one that I actually started purely as a way to use up some of this Lion Brand Landscapes yarn that I have. I saw a video on YouTube for like a stained glass sort of crochet. It's all tangly, it's been in a bag. For this stained glass crochet blanket, and I really like this. I really love the way that it's coming out with the colors. So this is a mix of Lion Brand Landscapes. There's not very much left of this ball, but Lion Brand Landscapes. This is in the Blue Lagoon color, which I absolutely adore. I have about 1 million of them in the cupboard, so I need to use them. So I'm using them for this. I find that this is taking a really long time. It is a row of double crochets with the blue and then a row of single crochets with drops down into the row below to get the sort of step down effect. But I really love how this looks. It's kind of curling a little bit, so I'm hoping that when it's all finished and I block it, it will not be so curly, but nonetheless really pretty, and I'm really liking this one, so I think I'm definitely going to try and finish this one too. I tend to work on this one before I go to bed and it stays in my room, so I will pop it back in my room to continue before bed. Continuing on with my crochet theme, I have another Hooked on Sunshine pattern. This is really hard to see, but this is another 4 blanket, and it's in this Peyton Songbird sort of fluffy stuff. Blue color. I can't remember what the actual name of the color is, which is remarkably unhelpful. Anyway, with this, I decided to start this in this yarn to use up some of this because I have a whole bunch of this. I intended to knit a jumper with this, and then I did a little bit of a swatch and decided that it was too hard to knit with, so I have popped it into this. And in terms of whether this is a finish or a frog, this will be a finish because this stuff is impossible to frog. So one day, maybe. This is another one that I started a while ago to, again, use up some yarn. This is, again, the Lion Brand Landscapes in the grey and then like a more browny sort of colour. I really liked where this was going, and I really like the grey in this sort of chevron pattern, but I'm not a big fan of the brown colours in this. So I actually think I'm going to frog this one. In the past, I found that the Lion Brand Landscapes doesn't frog very well because it is that more sort of textured, I guess. But I mean, it seems to be going okay. I'll just take it slow, I guess. See, we're already stuck. Let's not frog it right now, but for those of you who don't know why we call it frogging, it's because you rip it, right? Yeah. I have one more crochet project before I move into my knitting projects, and this is another one that I started to use up yarn. This cabinet behind me, the entire bottom of this is full of yarn, and when I say full, I mean you can't open the doors without it spilling out. I'm in the process of setting up a spreadsheet to help me keep track of all the yarn that I have and the quantities that I have, more importantly, so I can work out what to actually do with it, because I have sweater quantities of a lot of this yarn, and I really need to do something with it. So we'll stay tuned for that, and also for the organization of all of this, because it's been in here since I moved, and that was 9 months ago. So I really probably need to get a wriggle on with that. But anyway, the project. So this one here is a corner to corner worked square. I found a pattern for this on YouTube, and every single time I put this down and then come back to it, I have to go back and watch the video again to work out how to do it, because I can't remember. But if you've ever worked corner to corner, it's fairly easy, and once you get into the flow of it, it's actually pretty quick. So this is already like cushion size, and for this I'm using the 4 Seasons Spot Saver yarn in the white, black, dark grey and light grey. I really enjoyed corner to corner. I made a corner to corner blanket for my mum a little while ago, again, to use up some yarn that I had. And this one, I really like it being square. I find it really fun, and I like the way that these colors are sort of all coming together. So I will continue with this one when time permits. I also work full time, and I also make things like earrings and amigurumi and things like that. And I don't know how I have time to do all of these things, which is probably why I have so many projects on the go at any given time, because I can't decide what to do. I'm a mood reader and I'm a mood crafter, and that's just how I am. So as I was saying, I am a crocheter first and a knitter second. I would consider myself to be an intermediate crocheter, but definitely a beginner knitter. I picked it up in the last 12 months. I bought one of those cardigan knitting kits to make the big jumper, which my mum ended up with because it turned out that the yarn was too scratchy for my skin. But anyway, that's the first thing I ever actually knit that was not like a scarf when I was younger with my grandma. So I've decided to learn to knit properly. And one of the things that I found was this poncho pattern. If I actually turn it around the right way. This poncho pattern, which is done in the Lion brand Thick and Quick, I think is what it's called. Wool Ease Thick and Quick is what this one is in. And this is a free pattern on the Lion brand website, and it has cables, and I had never ever done cables before, and I was so scared, and they're actually really easy. Go figure. But this is probably about halfway done, and I really wanted to finish this before winter was over, but since it's now the end of September in Australia, that is springtime coming into summer. So I'm probably not going to need this until next year, but I still really love how this is coming out, and particularly the way that the cables are sort of all coming together. So I'm very, very happy with this, and I'm very excited to see how it all goes when it's all finished, which will be eventually. I'm determined to finish this. I try and do 1 repeat of the rows of this every 2 days, so maybe. So this is the majority of a jumper that I have attempted to knit. This is in the Spot Savers prints. I love this. I know a lot of people probably aren't going to like this, and I am really hoping that it softens up a little bit with a wash, because it is very stiff. But I really, really like this yarn. I really like this color and this pattern. I think this would look really nice with just like a black skirt when it's all finished. I've knitted the body completely, and I am currently doing one of the sleeves. I actually don't know if this is going to fit me in the end of it. I think it will. When I did this, I decided that I didn't need to do a gauge swatch. I have since learned that they're really important, aren't they? So this pattern is the warm-up sweater by Espace Tricot. I know I'm not saying that right, but I did come across a video on YouTube of somebody knitting this, and it looks really nice. So it's a paid pattern. You can get it on Ravelry. I'll remember to put a link in there for this, and I really like this. It's very, very simple. Well, I thought it was very, very simple. As I said, beginner knitter, still learning. It had German short rows in it, which scared the absolute pants off me, but I worked it out, and I use this little app called Knit and Note to keep track of these little things, and you can put like comments in. And one of the things that I put as a comment on this project was I did the German short rows, and I was so very proud of myself, and nobody in my life understood what I was talking about when I was saying that I did the German short rows. But this is my current project that I'm actively working on, because I really, really, really want to finish this, because the other jumper that I have, I really also want to start working on, but I'm determined to finish this one first. So I have got the sleeves to go, then the weaving in, and then the washing and the blocking, and then she's all done. So this looks like a really sad little scrap. This is the beginning of the Nordic Nights sweater by Steingass. Knit Love Wool. I still feel like this was really ambitious as a beginner, because this is color work and I'm really loving how it's looking. I have not done very much of this. I'm about halfway through the color work section of this, and then it just goes back to knitting in the round, which I'm pretty keen for because I'm getting pretty quick at that at the moment. So I really hope this turns out nicely. I did do a gauge swatch on this one because the yarn that I'm using, which is this here, so this is Bendigo Woolen Mills yarn. Lovely stuff, absolutely adore it. It is a bit different than what the pattern suggests, because I'm sure that most people in Australia know that getting the yarns that a lot of designers recommend in their patterns can be atrociously expensive. I'm talking, you know, $200-300 plus shipping for the yarns for a small jumper or a scarf or a hat or whatever. So we make do with what we've got, but I really love how this one is coming out, and I'm determined to get back to this when I finish the other sweater, because I want that one to be done so I can go back to the fun stuff of working on this one. So actually getting all these things out, I am kind of surrounded at the moment by project bags, which is just great. These don't include the amigurumi that I'm working on for my partner's friend. They don't include the various micro crochet earrings that I'm working on for other people. And yeah, I don't know why I'm like this. Let's call it chaos crafting, because then I will sort of feel a little bit better, I guess. Well, anyway, that is my various projects that I have on the go. This is my very first video on YouTube, which is super duper exciting. So if you would like to follow me elsewhere, I am also on TikTok and Instagram and on Threads. I do have a good time over on Threads. But if you would like to follow me, please do. If you would like to share what you are currently working on or what project you would like to finish next, please pop it in the comments down below. And with that, I will see you next time.